Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, to USA Forecast, today's second video. So as always, on a Wednesday, we're having a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for the United States. I shall get on with you very shortly. Just say that the first video released today was the video for the Cheltenham Festival. Coming up next week, so done a forecast for that. And then we're going to be back later on with the main 10 to 14 day update, which will include all our regular features. Right, so let's have a look at USA Forecast then for the next 10 to 14 days. Going to start off with the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Let's go with Wilmington today in North Carolina, I think. So the red line's a 30-year upper air temperature average for Wilmington. We're starting off quite close to average at the moment. We're going to see the upper air temperature lifting up over the next few days. We're generally staying a little bit above average, through the next week to 10 days, maybe even into days 10 to 14. Generally quite a mild scene coming up. There are a few colder outlier members here, but not all that many of them. Looks like the overall trend for Wilmington, anyway, is going to be milder than average. A lot of dry weather as well over the next week. There's a bit of a deluge coming up there around the middle part of March, then perhaps going a little bit drier once again after that into the end of the month. GFS, temperature anomalies. The temp to the 18th of March, showing a proper old east-west split here. So many parts of Western America looking colder than average, from like the Rockies out into the West Coast, significantly below average. Quite cold actually for California, for example, with temperature anomaly there is going down to around 16 to 20 degrees below average through some parts of central and northern California. So quite a cold week to come in the west. Through many of these sort of central, midwestern and eastern states looking largely milder than average though. So quite a mild scene to come across many parts of America away from the west. Precipitation wise, we have a swathe of really quite wet weather through the central states. So like through the Great Plains and the Rockies. Looking very, very wet there. Going over towards the eastern side, a little bit above average until we get to the east coast, where it turns drier than average. And these northern and northwestern states looking rather drier than average as well, varying over on the west coast. This is how the latest GFS run is looking for Wednesday. So high pressure will be off the eastern seaboard of America on Wednesday. We'll be drawing up a very mild southerly wind up the east side. At the same time, though, the west and the northwest does look colder. This for today, by the way. So upper air temperatures for today, again, showing mild air surging northwards through many of these central and eastern parts of America. The far northwest and west looking rather colder up there. Now, in the coming days, we're going to see low pressure pushing through from Canada into these far northern states, bringing cold air from Canada into extreme north. However, many parts of America under this ridge of high pressure will be dry and probably relatively mild actually through this ridge. This ridge should prevent the very cold air digging in from Canada into many of those northern and midwestern and east states. However, very far northeast America will be colder with those northern winds. This area of low pressure just here will be significant, will bring some significant rain, thunderstorms, maybe some snow, and I wouldn't totally rule out chance of 1 or 2 tornadoes through these southwestern parts of America. So that's a significant area of low pressure. It will bring a lot of heavy rain with it. Upper air temperatures for Saturday show that the coldest area is just into the very, very far north of America. But it is quite a mild scene, far northeast, I should say, America. But it is quite a mild scene, really, through most parts of the states. Right, we head on into Sunday. This area of low pressure again will bring very significant rain through the southern parts of America. All the time further north it will be drier, cold air just digging in the extreme northeast on this northerly wind. Another area of low pressure moving from the Pacific in towards the northwest as well. Upper air temperatures again just show that cold air digging in to the very, very far north and northeast. Otherwise it's quite a mild scene for most parts of America, but will be cooler out in the west, of course. Moving up into the early middle part of next week, and the next area of low pressure pushes through in towards the Midwest. Again, that's drawing up quite mild air from the south on the east side of the low, but will draw down something a little bit colder on the western side of the low. So that might start to bring heavy rain through the Midwest and possibly start to bring some colder air in towards the Midwest as well later on. You see with the upper air temperatures, there's a little bit of colder air beginning to come in around the western side of that area of low pressure. But on the southern eastern side of the low, it's still quite mild really through much of the Midwest and into the east, and there will be heavy rain associated with that low. Further west, quite chilly with the upper air temperatures there, and so there could be a mix of rain, sleet or snow in the northwest. Later on, as we move up towards day 10, again that low pressure pushes through across the north into the northeast of the states. It will draw down something a little bit colder into the far northeast as well. All the time, the southern states looking relatively mild, even perhaps quite warm or hot down through these far southern states, as you expect really for the time of year. And the ridge building in from off the Pacific will keep this western side quite chilly, maybe quite cold. That's how it looks as we get to and beyond day 10. So generally quite a mild day. There's no sign of like a return to those extreme cold upper air temperatures for the time being. They're still sitting over Canada, and there's no sign of them sort of getting back in across the states in the next week to 10 days at least. And then we head towards the end of this GFS run. We do start to see this area of low pressure diving southwards through the Midwest and pushing over into the east. And that does start to pull down something colder from the north then. So as we come towards the end of the GFS run, 23rd of March, we are starting to see a colder pusher there digging in from the north, and at the same time got low pressure and warmer air starting to move up from the south, and that might be like the signal then for some very severe thunderstorms to begin to get going through these more southern and central states. If you have a look at the upper air temperature, see there is a big temperature contrast, so we have got like a push of very cold air from Canada as we get towards the end of the GFS run. It's a long way out though, it's 24th of March, but we have got like this classic sort of temperature contrast that you get in America in the spring, with hot air beginning to really start to develop down across these extreme southern states, so the south of Texas, for example, in the plus 20 Celsius isotherm, but at the same time that the minus 10 Celsius isotherm is beginning to dig in towards these southern states. So there's a big temperature contrast there that will fuel low pressure, it will fuel big thunderstorms, and possibly we start seeing some tornadoes then developing through these more southern states, which is typical again for the time of year as we get these clashes of air masses between the cold air from Canada and the hot air coming up from the Gulf. Also looks like it's beginning to get hotter across California as well. That would be typical for the time of year. But many of these northern and northeast states do become colder, maybe significantly colder as we get towards the end of the GFS run. And that's how we finish the midnight GFS with, again, big temperature contrast going on, although the coldest of air probably begins to recede back up towards Canada. This is how the ECM is looking. The Euro, again, drawing up some very mild air up the east side of America with these southerly winds. Tomorrow, low pressure will be out to the northwest, keeping the northern and west parts of America cooler. That's how the upper air temperatures looking. Generally, for tomorrow, with the upper air temperatures quite mild through particularly the southern and southeast states. Very hot, actually, down towards the border with Mexico. And then up in towards the northwest, it will be quite a lot cooler through there. Moving on with the Euro into the weekend, again we find that high pressure is reaching through many parts of America. The cold northerly wind does try to come back from Canada, but is receded really through most parts of the states except the extreme northeast, which does tap into that cold air from Canada. Most places actually under that ridge seeing the cold air held at bay. There will be a significant area of low pressure through here, through like the plains, that will bring some very, very heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorms, and maybe some snow as well, particularly in more mountainous regions. That's how the upper air temperatures look as we get through next week. Again, the extreme northeast is very cold, with those cold winds digging in from Canada into the far, far northeast. But most parts of America, again, looking relatively mild until we come into this cooler air of the Pacific out in the west. Heading through the course of next week, everything gets rather slack with the ECM. So there is an area of low pressure here, but will bring some quite heavy rain through the Midwest and into the east. Maybe some snow on the northern and western side of that area of low pressure, but probably more towards rain through most areas. Again, the upper air temperatures look like that as we get to day 10. So not overly cold, actually starting to see the heat building in the southwest. So again, these southwestern states like Arizona, for example, starting to see the heat really building, as you would expect again for that part of America as we move in towards the final stages of March. Lastly, CFSV2, these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will take us from the 9th through to the 15th of March. Again, we have low pressure out to west. High pressure will be sitting over and to the east. America will be drawing up quite a mild southerly wind through most parts of states in week 8. Colder, though, in the northwest. Week 2 looks quite a settle. This is 16th, 22nd of March. Low pressure then pushing through the states, probably along with a bit of a southerly tracking jet stream as well. So this could start to allow something a bit colder to move down into those more northern parts of America. It will be more unsettled as well. Week 3 is the 23rd, 29th of March. High pressure in the southwest will bring some potentially quite hot weather through the southwest. Low pressure up to the north could bring some colder air into the northeast. In between, there's probably going to be a temperature contrast that might fuel some heavy showers and some thunderstorms, typical of the time of year. And then week 4 will be the 30th of March to the 5th of April, with again high pressure through many of these northern states, probably bringing a reasonable amount of dry weather with it. Temperature anomalies for the week ahead from the 9th to 15th of March will be cold on average in the west, but through many of these central and eastern states will be significantly milder than average. It goes colder into week 2, 16th, 22nd of March, sees cold air spreading out across America. So this is a colder week, maybe quite a volatile week as well. And as I said, if you get this contrast in temperatures going between the south and the north, then you wouldn't rule out the chance of some really torrential storms, maybe some heavy snow, and maybe tornadic activity. Will be warmer in the very, very far north and northeast or milder. Into week 3, which is going to be the 23rd, 29th of March. Still a bit cold on average in the east and the southeast. Otherwise, most parts of America turning milder once again. And by the time you get through to week 4, which is going to be the 30th of March, 5th of April, again, most parts of states are looking warmer than average and up into Canada as well. Precipitation-wise for week 1, 9th to 15th of March, wetter than average through these central, northern and east states, dry than average in the southeast, looking rather wet in the west as well. Then we go through to week 2, which is going to be the 16th, 22nd of March. Drier through these southern states, so maybe not too volatile down in the south. Eastern states looking wetter than average. Western states also looking rather wetter than average. And dry conditions extending up Midwest into towards the north. Into week 3, which is going to be the 23rd, 29th of March. A little bit dry on average in the southeastern states, otherwise reverting to nearer normal, really wet in the west, and also above average precipitation in the east. And we get through to week 4, varying from state to state, but the 30th of March, 5th of April looks again quite dry in the southeast, pretty dry in the southwest as well, wetter in the Midwest up in towards the northeast. Right, so it's looking quite typical of the time of year, really. It looks like we'll probably get another push of very cold air out of Canada, between around days 10 to 15. But before then, it's not too bad. It's a bit cold in the west, but not too bad. Relatively quietish conditions, I think, in the coming few days. And then maybe start to get a little bit more volatile as you get that clash of air masses as we move towards the final week of March. Right, so that's it for the USA forecast this week. We'll do it all over again next week. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel as well. Don't forget to check out that forecast for Cheltenham, and we're going to be back later on with our 10 to 14 dayer for the UK and Northern Europe as well. But for this one, for USA forecast this week, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.